of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, during those days, a time came on us because we were under watch. No one was allowed to help us. We were going on through a very difficult situation at our home. One of his students sent him 4,000 dirham, saying that this is not zakah, this is not sadaqah. I inherited this from my father, so this is pure halal money. I'm sending it to you so that you can use it for yourself and pay whatever debts you have on you and use it for your children. Salih says, I said, at this time my father is going to accept it. And he started writing the reply. When he handed the reply in my hand, I read it. He said to me, go and give it to that person. When I read it, it said in it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have blessed us with so many blessings. I have enough of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me. And the person that I'm in debt to, those are not bothering me. And they have given me some more chance and to pay it off. So inshallah, I don't need it. Take it and use it for yourself and your family. This is the life. This is the taqwa in the lives. One day, he had nothing in the house. Days are going by, nothing to eat. So he takes the bucket. In those days, bringing water from out of the town, it will be in a bucket. Not every house has the water fountain in there or has a system over there to have any water. So they have a bucket to fill it with water from out of town, from a well, and bring some sweet water into the house. He had nothing in the house, so he went to a store owner and he said to him, here is my bucket. Please keep it. Give me 2 pieces of bread so that I can feed my children. And as soon as I will have some money, I'll pay you and you give me my bucket back. After some time, and what is he doing? He writes. When in those days there are no copies for copy machines. So whenever someone writes a book or article, they would look for people who would write it for them and they would get paid for it. This is what Imam Ahmed is doing. When people are writing the books, they would bring it to him and he would copy it for them, according handwritten, write the whole thing again. He would copy it for the person and then get paid for it. So after a few days, when he had a little money, he went back to the store owner. Here, take your money and give me the bucket back. Of course, they need the bucket very badly. Now the situation is there is no bucket in the house to bring water, to take shower in all of these situations. So he goes back. So that store owner takes the money and he says, here, look, these 2 buckets, one of them is yours, take it. He says, now my bucket got mixed with someone else's bucket. And I don't know which one is mine. He says, both are exactly identical. They are exactly the same ones. So take one of the 2. He says, yes, but I don't know which one is mine, so I'm not going to take the bucket, and that money is yours, you keep that too. دَعْ مَا يُرِيبُكْ إِلَى مَا لَا يُرِيبُكْ. Always stay away from the doubtful things, and always choose the path where there is no doubt whatsoever. This is where we learn what does this hadith mean. We think we are in that situation, that, oh, you don't use doubtful things. When the ingredient says that there is pork in it, I never eat it. So I never go into those things. Yes, when there is something I'm not sure about, then we just eat it. And then that hadith applies on me. Subhanallah. Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal, Rahimahullah. On top of this, when you look at his taqwa, his life, how he's spending his life, one of the very important lessons he left for the ummah is following the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How strictly he used to follow the Sunnah, and each and every step of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his life. It wasn't possible for anyone to attend the class of Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal while doing anything against the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ibrahim ibn Hanif, who was one of his students, he said during the days of the fitna, when Al-Mu'tasim was looking for him, he came and he hid in my house. After 3 days, he said to me, Ibrahim, I'm going. I said, they're still looking for you. He said, I'm going now. But could you tell me the reason for it? He said, yes. The reason is because when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left Makkah Mukarramah for the hijrah, he hid in the cave of Thawr for 3 days. They were still looking for him. But then he left the cave and he went to Medina. I'm not going to go against the Sunnah. If I'm following the Sunnah at the time of ease, I must follow the Sunnah at the time of difficulties also. Subhanallah. For us, we will say, that was because of the circumstances. This is what it was needed at that time. 3 days were enough for him. If he needed more, he would have stayed there for longer. No, for Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal, this is how he did it. This is how many days he stayed. This is for me, that's it. I'm not going to see why and this and that. This is enough for me to know that he did it that way. I will do it exactly the same way. Nowadays, unfortunately, the trend have changed. And really, it's getting so bad in that situation, especially when it comes to the Sunnah and following the Sharia, that not just a person who has no knowledge, now those who are considered to be mashayikh in Islam, scholars of Islam, a'imma now, they're trying to find ways for us not to follow the Sharia. Our questions to them, find me a way to get away from it, and they always have a good answer for it. Okay, if you do it this way, then it's not halal, haram for you, do it. To that extent, I got some recent questions that there are people who came up now with this movement, you can say. It's not just an opinion, it's a movement that they started. That look, amongst all the 4 Imams, if any of the Imams or 2 or 3 of the Imams say about something is fard, is wajib, you must do it, and one of them says it's sunnah, then you are allowed not to do it. Don't do it. Subhanallah. Look for the word sunnah amongst any of the 4 Imams, and if one of the 4 Imams says it's sunnah and the other saying wajib or fard, don't do it. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And this is now scholars who are preaching these things. What will happen to the ummah in this situation? If we start teaching people that you should just follow the fara'id and wajibat, and even if something is fard somewhere, you normally follow Imam Malik rahimahullah. Imam Malik says it's fard. Look, if Imam Abu Hanifa says it's sunnah, then don't do it. What are we looking to do now? A bird in a cage looking for a way to come out of the cage? Does Islam have really captured us and put us in that small cage that we are trying to fly here and there and find a little room, a little hole that we can get away from it? And why follow it? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said it very simply and very straightforward. A person's iman will not be perfect, will not be able to get the sweetness of iman until he's pleased with Allah to be his Rabb. He's pleased with Islam to be his deen, and he's pleased with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be his prophet. He's pleased with it, is not he's looking for a way to get away from it. We have to be very careful in this regard. If it says sunnah, then don't do it. Someone says fard, other says wajib, third one says sunnah, simply means you find a way not to do it. Don't do it. Subhanallah, what is Islam now? If you just take one example, take your salah, and then look at the difference of opinions I am between the Imam of Islam, the 4 Imams, and start looking at anything that one of the Imams says is sunnah, and don't do it, and then look what type of salah you would have. One of the Imams says raising the hand is sunnah. Okay, don't raise. One of the Imams says folding hand is not sunnah. Keep it down. Don't do that. One of the Imams says reciting is sunnah. Don't recite. One of the Imams says you don't have to go all the way in ruku. You just go a little bit and that's your ruku. Just do it this much. Start doing it with your salah. See what happens to the salah. You yourself will not accept that as a salah. So how the rest of the deen is being accepted by us when it's being presented to us in the same exact manner? We are doing this to our deen at this time of the example that I've showed you about salah. Do it with your salah. You will not be satisfied. You see someone doing salah in that manner, you will not accept it. But we are accepting the rest of the deen in the exact same way. Sunnah, don't do it. We have to change our attitude towards the Sunnah. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah, once a person came to him and gave him a dua. He said, أحياك الله على الإسلام. May Allah